A death cross is upcoming for Bitcoin. So according to Eric Krohn, the one and only one, for Bitcoin, a massive volatile move from a few $1,000s potentially to the upside or to the downside is upcoming. Today we will exactly focus on these scenarios and tell you exactly what is likely to happen in the short term. If you think that sounds interesting, guys, make sure you stay here for the whole episode. You smash up that like button right now. And now, without any further ado, we want to come to the most important question of today. Eric Krohn, my man, how are you doing today?
Hey, good to meet you, Chris. Good to be here with the MM community, and pleasure to meet you all.
Yeah, exactly. So for everyone who doesn't know Krohn, which should be maybe 1% of the viewers right now because everyone knows you, can you maybe give us a short introduction, let us know what your background is and how you got your trading skills, like everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Eric Krohn. I've been trading for depends how you really kind of mark it up, but at least a decade, maybe two if you count my younger years. My father was a trader on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. So each and every year, ever since I was like 11, I'd go down to the floor and be clerk for him, kind of learn the business that way. Thought it was really fun because some of the more seasoned guys there, one of the brokers used to pick on me when I used to go down. So, it really kind of grabbed me in as like an adult playground. So I really started to fall in love with the actual business itself. Went off to college, years later. And while I did graduate with a couple of degrees, I didn't really, feel like college was for me. I didn't really intend to use anything that I really learned there. And once I kind of left and came back to San Francisco, I started to harass a family friend that I met through my father, who is now an options market maker on the floor of New York Stock Exchange, ARCA.
Wow.
And basically harassed him until he took me under his wing. Really, really nice guy. And he kind of taught me everything that he knew with regards to making markets and options. And from there, kind of graduated on from him and met someone else on the floor who had been doing this for, at that point, I think about 35 to 40 years. So a true master, and he kind of took me under his wing. Again, a little bit of persuasive harassment as well there. But, he kind of took me under his wing for the next few years and taught me everything that he knew, worked with him for a while. And it was really, 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 really insightful just to see everything from his point of view, because it was basically I had everything wrong was what it came down to. Worked with him for a while. Really great experience. Feel extremely lucky to have an experience like that. Then started to go off on my own. Actually had a massive crash and burn about a year and a half after I went off on my own. Then kind of built myself back up with the help of my mentor, and then started to actually take care of the markets once again for the next few years. Then heard about magic internet money, and it's all been yeah, exactly. Kind of sucks you in, man. So here I am now, just doing this actually exclusively.
It's a rabbit hole, man. Yeah, perfect. So
Absolutely.
Just a usual trader story, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, exactly. And that's, guys, that is what it comes down to. We always tell you, like, not everyone can win it. Usually when you want to be one of the best traders or a profitable trader in the long run, you need like 10,000 hours of hard work, of training to be one of the best ones. I mean, many very experienced ones say 10,000 hours is the number of hours you actually need to be top of the notch. And we are very happy to have you.
And that goes with anything from what I understand,
exactly.
too. I mean, there's studies done on this sort of thing. It's, it's like you're in a competition, essentially. Anything that's worth anything in life, you're going to have to spend a significant amount of time really learning. And that's basically what it comes down to trading and really anything.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we are happy to have you here right now. We are happy to have you to drop your knowledge bombs, your experience on our heads in that episode, especially because for Bitcoin, we have an urgency situation right now. There is a death cross upcoming for Bitcoin. We already were close to it, but there was no confirmation. So right now, it is really, really urgent and key to see where the market is heading to. And as you already told us before we started that video, for Bitcoin, there is most probably, like close to a certainty, a very volatile move for Bitcoin upcoming. And it will be a couple of thousands of dollars to the upside or to the downside. Maybe we can open the charts and see what it is all about.
Yeah, let's bring up the screen share right now. Just 1 second, and I believe it's this guy right here. Okay, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, right now.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about right here on the 4-hour. What I think probably a lot of people are talking about this right now, but I'm going to put on two moving averages here. It's going to be the 50 exponential represented by this green, and then the purple 200 exponential moving average right here. These are very common inputs. Everyone knows them, and it just kind of gives you a good insight to what the market's typically doing, with regards to this time frame, as Bitcoin does really like to actually play off the 4-hour. And we'll kind of go back in time and look at some more examples. But what we're looking at right here is we're looking at that green 50 exponential moving average start to really converge hard on that purple, which if they do cross, then if they cross the downside, the green underneath the purple, then that will be what's called a death cross. And historically speaking, Bitcoin likes to have some pretty nasty downside moves if we actually do confirm that. So we will confirm this if we start to close any sort of higher level candlesticks anywhere below about 10,200-ish region. It'll happen today, most likely. Now, the move, of course, when we're talking about a couple $1,000, $1,500 to a couple $1,000, kind of what I feel comfortable with saying, that's going to, take a little bit more time. But this would kind of set it in. It would kind of like set the trajectory, if you want to call it that. Anyways, just to kind of show the validity of this, you can see that Bitcoin actually did a damn good job of holding that purple 200 exponential moving average the whole way up on this run since February. But more importantly, you'll actually notice that it got the golden cross right here with the 50 going above the 200. So that
and look
that
what happened afterwards.
Yeah, and that's that's 6 months of straight up action. Now the thing is that the death crosses are equally as nasty. In fact, the last time that we had an example of a death cross was right on over here during September of last year, and that led us all the way from about $7,000 to $3,100. And then the time before that, was right on over here, about $7,300 down to $6,000 right over here. Then the time before that was this guy right here, at around $8,800, leading us down to $6,000 as well. And the time before that was right on over here from about $10,500, very similar area actually, down to about $7,000 base, and then of course right here as well, $14,000 leading down to $6,000 as well. So this does seem to get a lot of play in Bitcoin land. Typically results in a retracement of about 30 to 40%. So if we do actually fully confirm this, then I will be looking at targets down once again into the low 9,000s, probably 93, 9,400, extremely likely, and probably lower over time towards 8,500. I know a lot of people are looking at that area, which typically means that we're either going to get some muckery around that area. What's up?
It's the 50% Fibonacci retracement. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. If we actually throw up a fib, absolutely, it's going to probably line up with some areas right here as well. We can do that really, really quick. Just kind of come up with potential targets on this guy. But the 0.5 is going to be right around 8,500. Not only that, but perhaps even more important to me would be the CME showing a nice little gap in price action right around that same area. So if we did, come down around there, not only would it kind of fulfill that same sort of measured move that we just spoke about. Or sorry, not a measured move, but it kind of fulfill Fibonacci, also the gap, and basically usually when we see a retracement on these guys, it comes down around to anywhere between 30 to 40%, which would put us somewhere in this region right here, as you can see. Also, it would match up with a couple other tentacles right here. Another big thing that I'm watching on Bitcoin from the more long term, if we do initiate downside, which I want to be very clear in stating this, that this is not confirmed as of right now. It is not confirmed. It's still just an idea. But if we were to also, confirm this to the downside, a big target from an algo perspective is going to be somewhere around this yellow 21 exponential moving average on the weekly. This has been a damn good indication of kind of what phase of the market cycle that we're in. When we're above it, generally good. When we're below it, generally bad. You can see that it kind of runs it up throughout the whole last bull run, right on over here as well. So we've been using it. We actually haven't really tested it all that much on this current run. So Bitcoin coming back down to that area would still be seen healthy from a longer term perspective. So really, if we even get this cross, yes, I will be short term and medium term bearish for a move, maybe $1,500 to $2,000 lower. But what I will be saying is that longer term, it's, the trend is still intact and I'd still be macro bullish. And that's really what I want to get out during a video like this. Of course, it could just as easily be that we actually do not initiate this death cross. Again, these two guys right here. Which you can see a lot of battles going down right here in this region. So if Bitcoin does kind of salvage itself on this on these next couple candles, we probably will that would be equally as powerful to the upside, and we can start targeting moves towards 11,800, 12,000, probably 400ish region. But for right now, it does seem like there's more pressure onto the downside. All of our momentum oscillators are actually starting to point down on the lower time frames. We've got 4-hour Stokes right here looking a little bit tired. I think 3-hour Stokes already crossed the downside. These have been damn good at getting price action as well. All the last few crosses getting this bottom, this top, this bottom, and this top the whole way through. So sometimes it can be that simple. And right now, as it stands, we just confirmed another another lower high essentially. So we are still kind of maintaining this downtrend intact. That's kind of what's that's what's really concerning for me right now. With the current posturing of these moving averages and the current posturing of just price action and structure, it does kind of line up with some more downside. Of course, if I want to do this the more traditional way, one of the ways that my mentor used to do this all the time was with simple moving averages. He'd bring up the red 10 simple, the green 50 simple, blue 30 simple, and the white 200 simple, although less important in this that doesn't look like the 200 simple. Oh yes, I'm on the 4-hour. That's why. If we go here to the daily, you'll notice very, very quickly that this is actually your traditional sell area. It's kind of nasty actually, especially when we put on the 21. For myself, I have a personal rule that I don't play any asset to the long side as long as we're below the daily 21, and technically it's kind of a sell area right now. If we do start to get a negative slope on all three of these guys, which right now we have a negative slope on 2, the red 10 simple and the yellow 21, then that's also a traditional sell area as well. So we're at a major pivot point in the market is what I'm really getting at. Is this essentially going to be another lower high, or is this going to confirm a bear trap and we work our way back up? That should be decided sometime today, I'd imagine, and you're going to know most likely by the 4-hour telling you.
We have to get that video out, man. That sounds like urgency. So if I understand you correctly, right now we are in a no trading zone and you're waiting for that confirmation basically?
Yeah, if you're looking for the trending play, yes, it'd kind of be a no trade zone right here.
Okay, and looking at the two different scenarios, I mean, you are very, very certain that there will be a very volatile and massive move, a huge dildo, either green or red, to the upside or to the downside. I mean, you're always talking about that dildos on your channel. Let's just put it A or B, the bullish and the bearish scenario. What do you actually think? What has the higher probability? There's always a likelihood attached to the scenarios. What do you think? I mean, I think just from listening to you, you think that we are more on the bearish side and that the likelihood of going lower is higher?
As a trader, yes, I should, but I'll put it this way, man. Full disclosure, I don't have any open short positions or open long positions. I'm just waiting. I don't see the reason. I don't see the need to put on risk in this region. When we look at all these indicators and whatnot, it's more like mental masturbation. It's good. It's good to look at. If you want to be a little bit more cavalier with your trading, I guess I would be taking that trade to the downside. Especially with the way that this kind of structure is looking right here. I mean, it looks like a rejection of the 200 so far, but we still got about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Anything can happen in 2 hours and 30. We've seen $500 pumps and dumps in literally 1 minute. So
just like yesterday, man. Yesterday, that was so crazy, man. No one expected that.
Right. And that's the whole thing is, look at where we pump into. We pump right into the cross. So you can see that there's a war going down right now. And whichever side wins, the other side's going to capitulate hard. So that's going to provide the momentum to really send us like severely to the upside or severely to the downside. So that's kind of what's at stake right now. If I had to lean one direction, I guess it would be to the downside, but I don't, I wouldn't be taking any shorts here. I don't want to play Bitcoin short right now.
Yeah. So right now we can see that huge war from the bears against the bulls, and usually what the warlords do, they let the people fight against each other, and they are just providing them with the weapons. So guys, I want to remind you, if you want to take advantage of that volatile situation, we have a Bybit link in our description, and you can basically get a $60 free bonus by signing up with our link. You support our channel also. You can use the normal link. You don't have to support us, but if you want to, it is in the description and on the top of the pinned comments. But basically also, Crown, you are playing the role of the warlord. You are not playing that war between the bulls and the bears. You are going for the trending game and waiting for this setup actually to confirm.
Yeah, and we can even synthesize this down a little bit more. So you were saying it perfectly there. If you do want to trade this is a trader's paradise right now. If we put on some, if I put on my drawing tools right here, let's actually do a fresh chart. We can see some very obvious ranges. So you could also judge this as a breakdown or a breakout if we break below this guy right here, which I'll kind of highlight in this blue box territory. If we break this area right here, extremely likely that we come back down to at the very least 96.50 and probably lower over time. And this would be about 10,000 to 10,100 region. By the same token, we got this area right on over here to the upside, which is accurately getting, this nice little wick edge area. And same sort of thing applies right here. If we get back above this region, not only will we have higher highs, but we'll also, likely rally into like the 11,200 region, or sorry, 11,400 region would be extremely likely, and then probably $12,000 after that. So, if you are trading the lower time frames, this has been incredibly profitable and incredibly generous in the way that Bitcoin plays out these moves. I mean, this is with each and every passing hour that we've had like literally a $400 move. I mean, this is insanity.
It is. But that's the reason why we are here for, actually.
Yeah, that's why we love Bitcoin. That's why I came here, man. Absolutely.
Are you planning to set up some conditional orders, or how are you planning to rule that situation? How are you planning to take advantage of that?
So as far as trending plays, I won't play anything until we actually trade out of this zone here or trade out of this zone here or confirm a death cross. I'll probably take a short off that. For now, I actually did buy a little bit on the edge of this blue box territory right here, but this is just for a scalp. I'll probably end up selling it probably sell a little bit right now and then maybe a little bit more at 350-ish region. But whenever we're in a range like this, I don't this is just to frustrate the bulls and the bears, the people who are always looking for a moonshot or a doom shot, when realistically we're just consolidating. And when you look at it right here, just playing the ranges, selling resistance, buying support. That's been the most profitable thing to do for the past 24 hours.
Yes, exactly. Is there also, I mean, that's the short term. And also, can we maybe share, can you give me after the video the link of your setup here? Can you export a link maybe so I can share it with the community?
Yeah. I believe so, yeah.
That would be perfect. So everyone who wants to see that, I will put it in our Telegram group. You can basically check it out. Also, that's the short term. What are let's say we are going to, let's go through both of that scenarios. Let's say we are going to the downside. What will be your take profit? Where will you start nibbling out? Taking profits.
Yeah, so there's a couple of areas of interest right here. If we break to the downside, first area of interest will very likely be about 96.50 right here. For a short-term play, we can just put a nice horizontal right there. Basically our prior low as well. After that's going to be our current low, right around here, right around about 92. And then after that, things can get a lot more nasty down into about the 86 to 8,800 range right here. And that's going to fulfill pretty much the whole, I mean, that's about a $2,000 move right there. So that's what I'd be looking for. If Bitcoin does break below like 8,800, 8,600 region, I suppose the next area that I have my eyes on is around 76. But I'm not leaning towards that happening. I do not think that Bitcoin comes down this low. But hey, if we do break this area, then it doesn't matter what my opinion is. I will be trading for somewhere in this region right here in this bottom liquid zone. So that's kind of what's at stake right now. And always when I'm trading, I want to be taking profit here and there. So a lot of people will look at this and say, what, you're going to take off if you think it's going to go much lower, why would you take some off at 9,600? Well, because I've learned that a lot of the time you see things fail, and it feels better to realize some along the way. So I like to do things in thirds, and this is kind of the setup that I'll be looking for if we broke to the downside. By the same token, if we break to the upside, 11,200 will be my first area of kind of take profit right here. Then another like third, maybe right around about 11.8, and then I'll probably hold the rest as this is going to start to take on a whole different meaning. But for right now, it does look like there's a little bit more pressure to the downside here.
Mm-hmm. But that's actually a very good game plan, and thanks also for that wise words. Usually you have to have a setup and a trading plan. Sometimes people go into a short position without any plans how to go out, and that
good luck with that.
yeah. I mean, it's so hard because if you don't have a pre-set up game plan, you will act according to your emotions, and then 100%. You are set up to fail in the long run. And that was also 100%. A very valuable lesson I got from your trading course. Basically, if you want to check it out, I think you also have a free course. There's also another course, like a very professional one. We have both links in the description. I think you always say for most people the free thing is already enough. But that was actually a very valuable lesson, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The emotions of the game are so damn important. I'm sure most people can learn technical analysis relatively fast, probably faster than me, and understand it in like a visceral and in like just important sense. But to actually apply these concepts, there's some other X factor in there, and that typically comes down to managing your emotions and how do you kind of get around your emotions, playing these things out in advance. So that's why I'm talking about all the different scenarios that I'd be looking at here. Because you don't want to be doing things on the fly. As you said, once you get into an emotional state, you're actually blocked off, psychologically speaking, from making good, sound, logical decisions. And it's probably also a fact that your plan to begin with was fine. It's just you need to follow it.
Exactly. Man, that's perfect. We have such a nice trading plan right here, such a nice setup. I can't wait to share it in our community to see what they have to say about that. We have basically both scenarios. So what we can do is obviously do our own research, and then in the second step, we can decide what our trading plan will be. But this one actually looks very good. We have two different scenarios. If we break to the downside, we have the exact targets according to you. If we break to the upside, we also have the targets. And 11,800, is that your last nibbling out area, or do you have?
The thing is that if we actually do break to the upside here, I have to go into it with an air of looking at this as a continuation play to the upside. And if that were to happen, that's why I only have two kind of take profits here. I'd want to let a third run because while we probably do sell off from the prior high of about 13,000, at that point in time, the higher time frame is going to take on a completely different meaning. And we could legitimately have targets into the 14,000, 16,000, in that kind of range. We have to remind ourselves that the higher timeframes are still, the macro is still bullish, no matter which way you kind of cut it here. Here's the monthly, and monthly oscillators are looking damn good. We got monthly Stokes, plenty of room to roll. They're just about to get out of the bearish control zone for the first time in over a year. We got monthly RSI getting into the bullish control zone as well, getting back above the exponential. Both good things. However, this would actually line a little bit more with the bearish scenario first, because you will notice that. The last time that we did a similar setup like this, where Bitcoin was living outside the bullish control zone for about a year during the past bear market cycle, the first time that Bitcoin gets back into the bullish control zone, it gets swiftly rejected, comes back down, tests the exponential, and then works its way back up. If you look on price action, that lines up with this area exactly right here, which was about a 40% drop down, right? So if we were to kind of line that up here, and shave about 40% off the price, where does that put us? Around about 8,500 actually. So even if we were to initiate a pullback, I could still be bullish more long term. I'm bullish essentially as long as we're above the weekly 21, which is around 8,000 now. I'm long term bullish, but long term bullish also means we can have a $2,000 pullback. So it's probably not the best to be a blind buyer. But yeah, that's the validity of always looking at the higher time frames, kind of smoothing out that more long term longitudinal view.
That's what we also say with Da Vinci. When in doubt, zoom out. And even if the prices are going down in the short term, 40% retracements are like so usual in bull markets for Bitcoin. If you look at the last bull and bear cycles, we had 40% retracements door to door. So that was a very usual thing. We don't have the 40% yet. So if we go to the downside, maybe it's going to happen. I mean, if not, it's also fine. We are moon boys at MMCrypto, so that will be basically fine for us. So maybe now, before we wrap up today's episode, because man, we have urgency, we want to push it out to the people. Do you have something like a prediction for this bull cycle and for the midterm also, price wise, looking at the very high time frames?
Yeah, okay. Looking at the very high time frames, I'll kind of leave you with this. Of course, if this is a more moon boy oriented channel, then hell yeah, man. Let's talk about some fun stuff here. So this is a quarterly chart. This is it's basically 3 months. So you get four per year. It's quarterly essentially. Most important thing about this is that it's very, 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 very important for long-term direction. This is what I used to use in traditional markets to kind of judge generally bullish, generally bearish. You do see that Bitcoin had a phenomenal close on the last quarterly, and to me, this is actually setting it up for a move much higher. And the reason that why I say that is because we put on the Bollinger Bands here, which I like to call the Trollinger Bands because I don't really like them, but they're okay. We do see that we actually basically closed right at the top one, just a hair underneath the top one on the last on the last closure. So over the next 3 to 6 months, it's very likely that we actually do push this guy to the upside. And if we push this guy to the upside, looking at our prior structure, it looks like 20,000 is quite likely before around end of year. With that in mind. So, not only that, but when we look at quarterly Stokes, they're actually crossing up to the upside right here. They're defending against the bearish control zone. More importantly, the quarterly RSI is back in the bullish control zone and actually just testing the exponential. I like that a lot as well. So this, I do think, within the next 6 months, probably before end of year, we do see we do see that movement. And more importantly, I'm actually seeing Bitcoin rally back up here. So you're seeing the war continue. Sorry, I don't mean to drag this on more than it needs to be. But you're seeing the war continue right here. So, hey, what we could actually say right now is that as long as on a 4-hour closing basis, we don't lose this 21 exponential moving average right here, this yellow moving average right around 10,250. It looks like the bulls might win this one. But again, I need to see this fully confirmed. For now, it's still up in the air. But yeah, if we're looking at the quarterlies, if we're looking at the higher time frames, I do think that Bitcoin's massively bullish. I don't really have any reason to not be bullish on Bitcoin as long as we're, especially as long as we're above like $7,000, $8,000 base. And this would suggest that probably around end of year, we do actually give a legitimate test towards the all-time highs, or somewhere around there.
I can't see that right now. The last quarterly, did it close outside of the Trollingers?
It did not. It came just a hair short of it, actually. It came about $100 short. But usually, when you close this close to the to the top or bottom of a band, you'll push it on the next one or the one resulting after that. Kind of similar to what we did over here. Closes very close to it and then boom up. And we actually see this pretty much mirrored on the monthly as well. The monthly actually even a little bit stronger, I'd say. Kind of given another test up to it so far. But to me, this is just kind of profit-taking pullback. As long as we're above the medium band right here, you still kind of run with the upside.
All right, man. Thank you for all that knowledge bombs. Like in that short amount of time, that was actually very nice. If you guys appreciate that free content, make sure you smash up that like button and also let us know in the comment section right now. Do you think Bitcoin is going to break up to the upside or to the downside? And it will be very funny tomorrow to look back and to see maybe what actually happened. And we will count the comments. Usually, when the majority is saying to the upside, it is the other way around, and so on. It is really, sometimes we do those polls on the YouTube community tab and on Telegram and stuff. And usually, like most of the times, it's really the opposite of what the majority is thinking. And it's amazing to see that, actually. And maybe we get a little hint in the comment section. So let us know, guys. Let us know. Crown, can we go back into the face mode so we can see your lovely face in Chicago?
Hello, we're back once again.
So, again, I really wanted to thank you not only for taking your time here, but also dropping your knowledge bombs on us, because we as the MMCrypto team, we also checked out your course. And I must say, man, it was like 3 or 4 times the amount I expected in terms of duration and in terms of value per minute. You are talking in such a fast but still understandable manner that you get so much knowledge pushed into a short amount of time. That was actually very cool to see. And even though we already put so much knowledge in your heads in terms of fundamental and technical indicators, that really took us a little bit more to the upper level. So thank you so much for that. And
awesome, man. Very awesome to hear.
Yeah, and actually, we feel very comfortable promoting that. There will be a link in the description. Check it out. I think you have free stuff, and maybe it's not for everyone. Check it out. If it's for you, you can actually purchase it. If it's not for you, maybe the free stuff is enough, or you go somewhere else. I mean, it's a free world.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, check out the free stuff first, and that's probably going to get most people where they want to be.
Exactly. I mean, look how nice you are. You are not even selling anything, man. So, guys, check it out. There is a link
I'm a
in the
trader, man. I don't need to sell anything.
I know. I mean, we are in the crypto
sell some
world.
calls.
I think we are set. So, thank you so much for that, Crown. It was amazing to talk to you. We will just immediately upload that thing because it's so urgent. And I hope we will see each other very soon on our channel, or maybe we make a collab or so. That would be actually amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Chris, and meeting all the community here. Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us, everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining us, also for watching the video all the way through, for commenting, liking, subscribing, joining our Telegram, using our Bybit link. Thank you so much. We will see each other at the next episode of MMCrypto. A Bybit tutorial is popping up right here. Bye-bye, Crown. We will see each other very, very soon. So as always, guys, bye-bye.